Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. We're already nearing the end of August, which for me, I'm very much a seasonal reader, means the time for romance books is coming to an end. So I wanted to put together a list of what my favourite romance books were, either this summer or ones that I've read in summers past, so that I can give you a list of my top recommendations to get to before the end of August. Let's get into it. My first pick, and it's a pick that has been everywhere this summer, is Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. I absolutely loved this book. It was so much fun. It follows Justin and Emma, and their meet cute is very much, they have this curse that means that when they date somebody, that person then goes on to find their soulmate, they get married, have their happily ever after. So after finding out that they both suffer from this curse, they decide to date each other and see if they can then help each other move on to find their soulmate with the person that they date next. I find that such a unique way of doing a meet cute for everything that we've seen so far in romance books. But what I also really enjoyed about this book is that they've both got like subplot things that are going on in their lives that impact how they are able to move forward in their relationship, are also really interesting things to like unpack as the story unfolds. So for that reason, I definitely recommend get this on your TBR and read it before the end of summer. It wouldn't be a summer romance recommendations video if I didn't include some cowboy romance. So first off, the Chestnut Spring series. I read it for the first time this year and I feel like everybody has, so I don't want to talk about this one in too much detail, but it's 5 books, interconnected standalone romances. My absolute favourite book is Heartless, which is book 2 and follows the story of Willa and Cade. So I definitely recommend getting the first 2 books onto your TBR for that reason, because I think book 2 is absolutely amazing, absolute must read. Again, I don't want to say too much about them, but other than that, the other cowboy romance book that I wanted to get onto this list was Done and Dusted by Lila Sage. I've actually only read book 1, but I do have book 2 ready to go. I am obsessed with these covers for a start. They are absolutely stunning. But this follows Emmy and Luke. Emmy has something happening in her personal life, which means that she has to move back to Rebel Blue Ranch, which is where she grew up. Her and Luke knew each other growing up because he was very close to Emmy's family, and he's trying to kind of understand why she's come back, and then he's supporting her through something traumatic that's kind of happened with her. I don't want to give up too much information to kind of give away the entire story, but as a book boyfriend, I absolutely was obsessed with Luke. It was very much, if he wanted to, then he would. The way that he supports Emmy and waits for her and is patient with her, I absolutely loved. It's a really short read, so you can definitely get to this one before the end of August. Also, you get to add these super cute covers to your shelf, so what more do you want? Get those onto the list. I didn't want to spend too long talking about Chestnut Springs because I wanted to include this book in the list. This is Wild Love by Elsie Silver and part of the Rose Hill series, which is Elsie Silver's new series for this year. I absolutely loved this book. This one follows Ford and Rosie. Rosie's forced to move back to Rose Hill after something happens with her work, and Ford is a billionaire who wants a quiet life and heads back to Rose Hill to set up a new company. They knew each other when they were kids, and I don't want to get into that because I absolutely love the story behind that and I want you to experience it the same. But everything that happens in this book is so good. It's got single dad trope if you enjoy that, but it's really well done as well if it's not something you would usually pick up. It's not something that I would usually pick up, but I thoroughly enjoyed it in this book. I think Elsie Silver just does a good job of writing single dads, so I can't complain. For me, the thing with this book is the banter between the two. It will have you kicking your feet and giggling while reading words off paper. Absolutely no doubt about it. I was obsessed with this. I wanted to put this on the list because this is the only one out in the series so far, so there's no kind of big commitment of getting a larger series done before the end of summer. But also the second book, Wild Eyes, is out on September 3rd, so it would lead very nicely into that one if you got this one done before the end of August, so that you could get the next one on the release if you really enjoy it. The next recommendation is The Summer of Broken Rules by K.L. Walther, I believe it's pronounced. This one's really good. I wanted to put this on the list, so if you're not a big fan of romance books with any spice, this one's a really good option for a fun YA romance. I'll read you the back of this one. So, when Meredith Fox lost her sister Claire 18 months ago, she shut everyone out, but this summer she's determined to join the world again. The annual family vacation to Martha's Vineyard seems like the perfect place to reconnect. Her entire extended family is gathering for a big summer wedding, and although Meredith is dateless after being unexpectedly dumped, She's excited to participate in the traditional Fox family game of assassin that will take place during the week of wedding festivities. Claire always loved the game, and Meredith is determined to honour her legacy. But when Meredith forms an alliance with a cute groomsman, she finds herself getting distracted. Meredith tries to focus on the game and win it for her sister, but she can't help falling for him. And as the week progresses, she realises she's not only at risk of losing the game, but also her heart. This is such a good option. Like I say, there isn't really any spice in this book. It's very much a YA romance, a nice coming of age story. It deals with the issues of Meredith dealing with the loss of his sister, but also exploring it through this really fun way. The game of assassin, I was reading it and I fully wish that I was on this like summer farm camp kind of vibe playing this game. It felt like so much fun. It was a really fun, easy, fast-paced read. Definitely recommend getting to this one if that's the kind of book that you're usually drawn to. The next pick on my list is This Summer Will Be Different by Carly Fortune. I've actually read a few different books by Carly Fortune, so I've read Every Summer After and Meet Me at the Lake, and I really enjoyed those. This one was the new release for this year. What I would say is you don't have to read those ones, they're not related in any way, but if you haven't yet read Every Summer After, then absolutely please do. It's a book that I recommend to people who are starting out reading, starting out on their romance journey. I absolutely love it. I think the storytelling in it is really fantastic. It's dual timeline, dual POV, and you get so much from that, both in terms of like the romance and the side plot and all the twists and turns of what's happening. It's fantastic. But back to This Summer Will Be Different. Like I say, this was Carly Fortune's new summer release for this year, and I think it blew up everywhere. Like, this was so good, it hit so much. This one follows Felix and Lucy, and it's based on Prince Edward Island. Lucy goes to the island with her best friend because this is where her best friend grew up, and basically it's dual timeline. Felix is her best friend's brother, and they've kind of got a history, but Lucy's best friend has one rule: don't fall in love with her brother. So you can kind of see brother's best friend is the trope. The setting on the island is amazing. The dual timeline is really amazing. The story setup is basically her best friend is about to get married and she has this big meltdown, calls her and says, "You need to come to the island. I need you. I can't tell you why." And you're kind of just waiting to find out why. But while she's there, she's interacting with Felix again. You're going back to kind of how they met before and things that had happened over the years, finally culminating in kind of why, the reason that they're there, and yeah, exploring their relationship in a little bit more depth. I don't want to say too much on this one because with any kind of romance book, I think if you talk about it too much, all of the trope and the plot does become just very obvious. But please pick this one up. If you like Carly Fortune or haven't read her books yet, then this one was such a really fun one. The setting of it is fantastic for summer. Definitely want to read before the summer ends. Okay, the next book is Seven Summers by Paige Toon, and the tagline for this book is 6 summers to fall in love, 1 summer to change it all. And I'll read the back of this one because I feel like it'll describe kind of what's going on in this one much better than I can. 6 summers ago, Liv and Finn meet working in a bar on a rugged Cornish coastline. When a night of passion ends in tragedy, their hearts are bound together inextricably, but Finn must return home to LA, so they make a promise. Finn will come back every year, and if they are single, they will spend the summer together. This summer, Liv crosses paths with Tom, a mysterious newcomer. As the wildflowers bloom, they begin to fall for one another, and Liv starts to picture a world where her heart isn't broken each year. Now Liv must make an impossible choice, and when she discovers the shocking reason that Tom has left home, she'll need to trust her heart even more. I don't want to give too much away on this one because I think the storytelling in it is fantastic. There's basically these 6 summers of Liv and Finn falling in love, him coming back every year, and there's a reason why he isn't staying, there's a reason why she isn't leaving. But then it also cuts to the present where Liv is very much falling for Tom, and she's, wondering if Finn's going to come back for the 7th year, and you're wondering the same, wondering what's happened over these 6 summers. So you've got the dual timeline kind of figuring everything out as you go and understanding kind of like the emotions behind everything, and what's going on then with Tom in the present. And it causes so many kind of mixed feelings because you are going through these summers where she's fallen in love with Finn and you are too, but then you've got this present time with Tom and it's new and it's different and you're feeling those emotions too. So it is such a good read. I think the end is so emotional on this one. It's got a lot of depth, but a really nice Cornwall based, like different kind of approach to like your setting for the summer, but a really, really good one as well. So definitely get that one added to your list if you haven't already. It certainly wouldn't be a summer recommendations list without a book by Emily Henry, so I have chosen Beach Read. As you can tell, my copy is full of lots of tabs and underlines, so that should tell you everything you kind of need to know about my thoughts on the book. But if you don't know anything about this one already, this one follows January and Gus. They are both writers who have escaped to the beach to try and write a bestseller by the end of summer, but they are both suffering with writer's block. So to combat that, they decide to switch genres, and they both try and write a book in each other's genre to see if they can come up with a bestseller by the end of summer. And whoever makes the most sales basically wins the bet that they've got going on. You get to explore both them finding their romance and like that blossoming and growing, but also the reason for their writer's block fills in kind of the gaps with the rest of the plot and is a really fun thing to explore. Both have got kind of like more tragic and sad backstories of things that's going on, but I really think that adds so much more depth to this as kind of like a romance book. And that's the reason that I would recommend this one. Yeah, that is my final pick for the summer TBR. So those are my top picks of books that I think that you should get to before the end of August, before the end of summer, whenever that is for you. I myself have still got quite a few books that I need to get to before the end of summer in my romance section. That's not to say that I won't read any romance whatsoever. It's just that the summer really tends to be when I pick up most of my romance book, pick up those series and things, whereas as the weather gets colder, I will be switching over to this side of the shelf and really being drawn toward the bigger fantasy series to really like dive into and explore those worlds more. So I've got my picks that I need to get to before the end of summer. Hopefully this has given you some ideas of books to move up to the top of your TBR. Perhaps you've got them on your shelf and this might convince you to give them a read. But if you do, then drop a comment below and let me know what you think of them. Otherwise, hopefully we can do a video of top autumn recs maybe for September, October for like the colder weather reads. I'll let you know what I'm reading. You can update me on yours. If you liked this video, it would mean a lot if you gave it a like, or if you want to subscribe to see the other videos that I've got coming up. Maybe in September we can do a TBR of books that I would recommend going into the autumn winter time. And I also have my TBR and monthly wrap-up videos coming up too. So let me know what you thought of the books that I've popped into this video. Have you read them? Have you added them to your TBR? I want to know. Otherwise, I'll see you soon. Bye.